What? It's already Thursday. There was no hump day this week. There's only 4 days. So you're already over the hump. You only got a little more than 24 hours and the whole week's over already. Like less than 30 hours and the whole week's over. Yeah. Yes. This is Thursday, February 20th. Okay, here's what I've decided to do. We were going to move on to chapter 8, but I said, in lieu of the questions I was getting this week that were blowing my mind, if you remember, like, what? So here's what we're going to do today and tomorrow. We're going all the way back to page 160, so get your books out. And we're going to sharpen our skills, things that I have been incredulous about, the questions I'm getting. So we got to go all the way back and review chapters 1 through 3 to make sure that we've got the skills to go on. Page 160. Please stop the moaning.
Dominic.
You better go get it. Okay, here's the deal. The other thing we got to do is, listen, the other thing we got to do is we have to care about our math outside of the 40 minutes a day that you're in here. Everybody acts like they really care when it comes time to get assessed, to have a test or something. But outside of here, I'm not sure there's a whole lot of caring about the math outside of the time that we spend together. You're right, Noel. I know I'm right. So here's what we're going to do. We got to be more timely. You got to get a little more, frankly, you need a little more pressure put on you. Things that maybe have been too relaxed. So here's what we're going to do. For the next 10 minutes, you've got to do numbers 1 through 10, and your goal, you have to get done with page 160 in 10 minutes. That should not be hard to do. Now, don't get done by guessing, Dominic, because you want to get done first. I'll pick B. I'll pick C. I'll give it its due diligence. I feel like I'm picking on you now. Yeah. Sorry, Dominic. But, Dominic, part of my job is to make sure you're excellent, right? Right? Is that part of my job? Should I care, Dominic? Dominic, look at me. Should I care that you're achieving excellence?
Yeah.
Isn't that why I'm here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, don't be offended.
I'm not offended.
You know, when the coach or teacher gets on you, that must mean they love you, right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would just let you go. Who cares? You do just have to write the letter of the correct answer. Sydney, we're just working on page 160. You've got 10 things to do, and you got 9.5 minutes to get it done. You know, without pressure, there'd be no diamonds. Diamonds are formed by the incredible pressure.
Wow. That's so cool.
Otherwise, it'd just be coal. You know, a lump of coal in your stocking, like a diamond.
I mean, it's just a rock either way.
Yeah, to some people.
I mean, you're paying like a few $1,000s for the rock.
Nobody's trying to solve number 2, right? Obviously not, because that's not any of the choices. You just have to choose. What would you do first? Okay. don't you just write it down? Here's the thing. I'm looking out there and I'm guaranteeing there's at least a handful of people that are trying to do this without having to write it out. They're gonna guess. I think number 4 or number 3, I guess I'll guess A.
It is.
Instead of writing out.
Which one?
Oh, I thought you were going. But it's not A. No, it's not.
Can we do
It's on your last, so we don't have to write it out?
Right, Noah, but here's the thing. Do I encourage mental math? Yes. Do I encourage mental math as a way to just avoid doing the work so I get the right answer? No.
But I did it right.
Okay.
Oh, I hate when we go off. Wow, lazy.
Rachel, you do Rachel's, and Lauren will do Lauren's. And never the twain shall meet. Can't move your Shakespeare. East is east, and west is west.
What? I could number what? I no 10. 10. Am I supposed to write A, B, or C, or D? A, B, C, or D? Or is it like just solve all of them? Oh. There's all the possible dimensions.
David, the reason that you had 10 minutes is because 8 of them you can get done in 20 seconds or less.
Wait, what?
Number 10 is going to take a couple minutes.
How many minutes do that now?
6.
Stop laughing.
The key to number 10 is, obviously, it's a rectangular garden. You're just putting a border around it. What do you have to know, Jaden? Do you have to be concerned with area or perimeter? That's it. No pun intended, because you're building something, but number 10, there's a crafty little way you can figure out all the different combinations. If you know you're finding the perimeter of a rectangle.
I was going to change them, and then I forgot.
How much more time do we have?
3 minutes.
Feels like a terrible. Like the math section of terrible.
In 2 minutes, we're going to self-grade. Please make sure you're at least done with 1 through 9 within the next 2 minutes. David, do you remember the first rule of class?
No reading. No reading?
Mm-mm.
Be
Be here now. What class are we in? Math. Could you please stay math-minded for just this 40 minutes a day? Hey, I love the fact that you love to read, but for this 40 minutes, math-minded. 1 minute.
I'm confused on number 10.
Well, we're going to get to it, bud.
I've never heard of
Oh, you weren't here in the elementary, huh? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you this?
Yeah.
Are you that?
Sometimes.
Do you know what this means?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually,
So you need to work on class 2?
no more.
How much work does that take? Okay, here we go. Self-correct. Number 1, how many more mums than tulips are in the garden? You have to be able to read the graph. If I look at mums, it goes all the way up to, come on, participate. Go ahead, yell it out. If I look at tulips, it only goes to
40.
What's the difference?
20.
The answer is B. You did not put B for number 1. Mark that. And listen, if you got number 1 wrong and you don't understand why, now raise your hand. Case closed. Number 2, which operation is performed first when evaluating this expression? What would you do first? David?
8.
No. What would you do first? Ethan?
G.
G. Why, Ethan? Because it's inside the parentheses. Pem does. Parentheses first. So you would subtract 4 minus 2. If you miss that, and now you've heard the answer, if you still don't understand, you got to tell me now. Case closed. Number 3. What's the value of 2 times 6 minus 10 divided by 2? Dina? No. See why we're doing this?
I know.
Dominic?
C.
It is C. Here's why. Listen. You have to multiply and divide left to right first. So 2 times 6 is 12. 10 divided by 2 is 5. What is 12 minus 5? 7. The answer is C. If you got it wrong, and now you understand why you got it wrong, you're good. If you do not understand still, raise your hand. Case closed. Number 4. What's the value of this expression? 8x minus 4y. When they give you the values of x and y as 4 and 6. Lauren, it is F. It's 32 minus 24. 32 minus 24 is 8. Hands up if you don't understand. Hands up if you don't understand, but you're afraid everybody's going to think you're dumb or laugh if you raise your hand. Hands up if you're not raising your hand because of what I just said. Hands up. Number 5, David. Turn around, okay? You can tell her to stop, but if everywhere I put you, something's happening. Number 5, what's the value of the expression 6 minus 2 squared minus 8 plus 3 cubed? Dominic, no.
What number is it?
Spencer, no. Lorelai, D. Here's why. What do we do first? Okay, so what's 6 minus 2?
4.
What's 4 squared?
16.
All right, what's 3 cubed? Okay, so we got 16 minus 8 gets us to 8 plus 27. That gets us to 35. The answer is D. If you missed it and you still don't understand after that explanation, raise your hand. Really? So all those people missed it, yet it took me 5 seconds to explain it, and now you get it.
I got it right. I got it right.
Rachel, have you ever heard of the phrase, if the shoe fits?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're sitting in church and the pastor's giving a sermon and he's talking about something that would be sinful, but you don't do it, you go, hey, I don't do that. No. Number 6. What's the value of this, of W in this equation? W plus 18 equals 36. Kira. H because it's 18, right? 36 minus 18 is 18. Number 7. Nikki's driving at a rate of 50 miles per hour. 50 miles to 1 hour. How many hours will it take her to travel? 275 miles. Raise your hand. Brett. B. Anybody? Question. How did we get that? Raise your hand. Now's the time. Okay. Number 8. A package of 8 computer disks costs $10. A package of 15 costs $16.50. Hopefully you're already thinking to yourself, the better value is 15. How much money will you save per disk if you buy a package of 15 instead of a package of 8? Kiara? It's F. You're only going to save 15 cents. Why? Why? Listen to Kiara. Go ahead. How much is each disc? 8 discs for $10 is how much a disc? $1.25. 15 discs for $16.50 is $1.10. So you're saving 15 cents per disc. Yes? No. Zacchaeus. That's an answer I hardly ever give, but we got 3 minutes, and we're in the middle of something very important because we've got to sharpen our skills here. Number 9. A store has 10 pairs of black shoes, 3 times as many pairs of of brown shoes as black. And there are 10 more pairs of sandals than black shoes. Total number of sandals and shoes, if you put them all together.
60.
Raise your hand. Dina. No.
Oh.
Spencer. 60. How do we arrive at 60? Think with me. Ready? Write this down if you need to. What do we know? There are 10 black shoes. What else do we know?
30 brown shoes.
30 brown shoes. So how many total shoes do we have? 40. We also know there's 10 more pairs of sandals than black shoes. 20 sandals. 40 and 20, 60. They wanted to know how many total sandals and shoes. Yes. Number 10A. Okay. You got 32 pieces of wood. They're all 1 foot long. Okay. You're going to construct a garden. It's got to be a rectangle. What are the possibilities of how the dimensions of the garden if you're just making the border for the garden? What do you need to concentrate on? You need to know the perimeter of your garden. They told you that each piece of wood is 1 foot long, and you don't want to cut anything. You just want to get out there and piece it together, right? Give me one possibility that the garden can be. Yes. 7 long, 10 and 6. Okay. She says if I piece 10 of those and then 6 of those this way, that would be 10 plus 6. That would get her halfway around the garden. How many has she used so far? 16. So if she goes another 10 and 6, bingo. One of them would be 6 by 10, 10 by 6. What's another one?
Couldn't it also be 8 by 8?
It could be 8 by 8.
That's not rectangle.
Yes? Oh my goodness. Noah just said that a square is not a rectangle. He's going all the way back to 5th grade when we all got illuminated with the idea that square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not necessarily a square.
I wasn't here. I don't want to know.
Square is a rectangle. So this would be 8 by 8. Dominic, because a rectangle is defined as a, don't get up yet. Rectangle is described as a parallelogram
Parallel.
with 4 right angles.
I have a good one.
4 right angles. Special type of cut rectangle.
What is
Yeah.
15 by 1.
15 by 1. 15 by 1. You could be like, hey, I'm going to have a garden, but it's going to be like 1 row of beans. 15 feet long. We're good.
14 by 2.
It can happen. We'll pick up there tomorrow.
14 by 2.
Okay, Sid. Is that you?
Yeah, it's that, I mean, is this gonna be like that? We have to ask the
I understand that, Sid, but the ones he graded, you had -2 or something on the front? I'll check. Yes.
My bonus wasn't on there.
Yes.
My bonus wasn't on there.
I just put it in yesterday.
What time?
Yesterday.
What time?
Afternoon.
Okay, because my mom checked me right after school.
No, I just put them in yesterday.
Okay. Alright, I'll have to do that.
What? What? Why are you looking at that? Huh?
Exactly. Usually, they're like, okay, we covered it. Right. Yeah. You know, it's nice.
Baker. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Reagan, I can't believe you still haven't answered some of these things. What?
Brady, you have a problem. Steven always does that all the time. It smells different. It smells like deodorant. It smells like men deodorant. Yesterday, men deodorant and cologne. Oh, it smells so good in here. It smells like men deodorant. I know. I obsessed and I don't like that.
Who's time for
I love it.
We have hardly time
Yeah, but you're just what?
Okay, mathematics, let's continue the train to roll.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it smells different. Every time. It smells good. It smells like
Smells better today?
men. Yeah, it smells like cologne. I think men to break it more and more cologne. Did you wear cologne today? Oh, I think you put out a little extra. It's wet in the room. It smells like men's shit. Smells like seriously? It smells like men's shit. Mr. Franken, Ryan Fairbairn's stuff was right there, so do you want me to take it?
Nope.
Put it in the lost and
Okay, open you're not talking while your teacher's talking, but you are opening your textbook to page 191, and we are about to embark on an exercise where you're going to create your own line graph. Now, did I give you guys homework?
Yeah. I already did the
Number 3A. Before we go to that graph, what do you need, sir? Somebody ripped my book. How about my book got ripped? Does it necessarily mean somebody ripped it? You know what I'm saying? Like pulling it out of the locker, pulling it out of the desk, pulling it out of it could have gotten ripped. It looks like it's been ripped. Now, does that mean, Ryan, that somebody ripped it? Right? Wasn't you? Did you see somebody rip it? All right. So we'll tape it up. All right, number 3A, before we head to the making our own graph. Number 3A, Faith Christian Academy. Well, they probably changed the numbers on me. Faith Christian Academy has 4 fifth grade classes. We only have 2. They got 4. Look how big their numbers are. They got 28, 31, 24, and 33 students in those classes. How many would be in each class if they all had an equal number? For whatever reason they chose, they've got some of the 5th grades have more kids than others. Maybe they're like a special school where all the musically inclined students are in this class and all the mathematically inclined students are in that class. There's different reasons why they would do that, but they don't all have the same number. Like we try to get it about the same number, right? So, how many would there be? Capri's going to tell the class not only her answer, but how she went about finding that answer. Go ahead.
I got 29 because I averaged
How did you, what do you mean by averaged it?
Like, I added all of them up, and then I divided it by 4.
You see what she did? She took all the students, she added up the 28, 31, 24, and 33, and she divided that by 4, because that would give them 4 equal numbers. Does that make sense? I just realized something.
What?
I don't know if I shut the video off. And I didn't. Sorry, Julia, Johnny, and Sawyer. I don't think you want to do 5th grade as well.